mouths. I think I'm going to be violently ill.
It seems nowadays in both movies and video game departments we're getting reboots, remakes and sequels. We've had the popular PlayStation series God of War come back, Resident Evil 2 and 3 had massive remakes or remasters or whatever the fuck you want to call them. Hell, even Crash Bandicoot has had a remake and remaster and a sequel coming out very shortly. Me and Mrs Dudi even covered some of these games like Spongebob and Resident Evil 3. Though to be honest, yes, these are great games that deserve these remasters and remakes and sequels, but the over-the-top 50s style adult humour of Destroy All Humans is a void that only it can fill. Well people, Destroy All Humans has gotten a remaster with new graphics for current gen consoles and the PC, but how does it compare to the recent remaster remakes like the Spongebob remake we got a few weeks ago and the masterpiece that was Resident Evil 2? Destroy All Humans originally released in 2005 on the PlayStation 2 and on the Xbox to overwhelmingly positive reviews and became an instant cult classic. Set in the retro 50s alien setting, you'll play as Crypto, an alien who's tasked with going to Earth and not only gaining information and abducting people, and these cows, but revenge. The game starts off with your clone, well, the alien you were cloned from. Look, every alien in the Furon Empire are cloned from one another, with each clone being stupider, and it's actually pretty funny.
Let me get this straight. You sent me, him, Crypto-136, to a hostile planet, and he's disappeared. Maybe captured, maybe even being tortured as we speak.
Well, I wouldn't jump to any conclusion.
I bet you wouldn't. Let me tell you something, Pox. You're a smart cookie. But there's a time for thought, and there's a time for action. And this is one of those times.
Which?
The second one.
Anyways, your previous clone, Crypto-136, is captured by the US military and you'll play as Crypto-137 who comes to Earth to rescue Crypto-136, but also gather brain stems from humans for research. It's a pretty straightforward storyline that's easy enough for anyone to simply just pick up and play. What complements this story is the fantastic writing and voice acting on display. Honestly, I haven't laughed this hard playing a video game since... shit, I honestly can't remember the last time I laughed this hard playing a video game. We've even got Invader Zim voicing the character of Pox, and as I was writing the script, you better believe I was watching Invader Zim. Pox will act like most secondary characters to your lead, giving you advice, directions, and sass. The gameplay is pretty straightforward too and quite arcade-like. You'll be running around in sub-open areas as Crypto extracts brains, disguise yourself as humans using holograms, and of course, doing whatever mission Pox tells you to do. You'll start off learning the movement controls and then using telekinesis on these cows, and then flat up doing what it says on the box, destroying all humans. You'll then be flying around in your flying saucer, continuing to destroy all humans. As mentioned, you'll be able to disguise yourself as a human clearly because it doesn't really fit with you running around as an alien in front of humans. Disguises work a little bit like they do in the Hitman series. You'll obviously be able to use disguises to blend into areas, but you won't be able to go everywhere. If you want to go into, say, an army area, you'll need to disguise yourself as an army soldier. To do this though, you need to make sure that no one's around you and scan the target you wish to copy. When you scan a human, it will freeze the human in place, making them invisible. Sort of like instantly hiding the body in the Hitman series. However, if someone sees you doing this, the hologram disguise will be blown and the hologram will drop. You'll have other weapons and abilities too, like this shotgun that can stun then fry enemies. Now this weapon works on a battery and will recharge when you're not firing it, a little bit like a Tesla. A disintegration blaster that'll burn and vaporize humans, though this does require ammo to use this, just like the anal probe, which rips humans' brains right out of their asses. It looks like someone finally listened to Dave Chappelle.
Not bad, Whitey, but if it was me, I'd have ripped the spine out his ass.
On top of your telekinesis mental abilities, you can also mind wipe humans in case they see you and try to run to the authorities. If someone sees you trying to turn into a hologram or witness another human being killed or frozen by the hologram process, they'll freak out. Wiping their minds will obviously make them forget about it, or you can just flat up kill them. There is an eye logo that will appear right here when you're in eyesight of humans. It will appear blue if you're in eyesight of humans while using a hologram, and red if you're running around as Crypto without the hologram. You'll also be able to make humans dance for distractions and even make them act as bodyguards and fall in love with you. You'll also be able to make their brains bigger, causing their heads to explode. Now, picking up the remains of their brains will give you currency for upgrades, though some weapons will completely destroy the body, like the disintegrator or the bomb-styled weapon, the ion detonator, and clearly you won't be able to retrieve brains with these weapons. Using your hologram disguise called the Holobob, you'll even be able to disguise yourself as influential people. There's even a moment in the campaign where you'll need to pretend to be the mayor in front of the town and try to convince them that everything's alright.
My fellow Americans, as a young boy, I dreamed of being a baseball.
Now, John Wayne, that's a man's man.
Speaking of references to other famous properties, there's a load of dialogue, even in background dialogue, that'll keep you entertained. To maintain your hologram, you'll need to scan and read minds of other humans around you. This will not only keep your hologram active, but also provide you with hours of hilarious entertainment. Now, should your hologram fail or you want to go in loud and destroy your humans, you'll gain the attention of the local law enforcement and more. Just like Grand Theft Auto, there's a wanted level located right here, but it acts more like an attention level. As standard, depending on the level or damage or chaos you cause will depend on who's coming after you. You'll have police, army, and then basically the men in black come after you. Speaking of men in black, they can also disrupt your abilities and set up EMP devices where if you stay in their field for too long, you won't be able to use weapons, abilities, and your hologram will be flat up disabled. There's even some levels where you'll basically go to Area 51, it's called Area 42 in this game, and it's exactly what you think it is, and it's surrounded by the men in black. Using your minimap, you'll be able to see and identify potential threats like the men in black, EMP generators, and even identify vehicles. During certain points in the campaign too, the army will unleash heavier weapons on you like these two destructor looking motherfuckers right here.
I will destroy you! And stop calling me!
They're not that tough to take down, thankfully, but they do pack a punch. Health-wise, you've got a shield that you can see right here. Take enough damage and your shield will drop, and you'll be as weak as one-ply toilet paper after a night of eating Mexican food. To recharge your shields, you'll just simply need to avoid taking damage. Though there isn't just ground combat here, being a retro alien, of course you'll be able to get into a flying saucer. You'll be able to lift up objects off the ground like cows and destroy cars, humans, and even burn down buildings. When you first start to casually use your spaceship and blow shit up, the human resistance will be as powerful as a Wish.com vibrator on my nipples. Ooh, that tickles. But as you start to progress in the story, the men in black and the army will start to use weapons that'll deal some damage to your ship. I did find it kind of funny though that when you first start using your ship against redneck farmers, they'll basically start firing their shotguns into the air trying to hit you. Like playing on the ground, you'll also have shields, however your shields will only recharge when you sap energy from vehicles like cars, tanks and trucks. Obviously too, you'll deal loads more damage in your ship compared to running around on the ground, but you won't be able to blend in, obviously. You'll have different weapons too, like the Death Ray, which works like the zapping device when you're running around on the ground. As to that, it can be fired as long as the weapon has a charge. Stop firing the weapon and the weapon will charge. The Death Ray will also scorch the ground, damaging any humans in it. You'll also be able to unlock different weapons for your ship, such as this Sonic Pulse that shoots out, well, a Sonic Pulse that will be able to destroy buildings quicker. The attention to detail in Destroy All Humans further cements the writing and comedy involved. For example, at the start of one mission, you'll arrive at clearly what is a classic makeout point. Or, well, you get the picture. If you look at the cars, the windows are fogged up, they're clearly bouncing and making some noise, and there's even a Titanic handprint on the windows. Now, as you can probably tell, the graphics have been completely redone for Destroy All Humans, but that's not the only thing. If you played and loved the original 2005 entry, then you'll notice there are some changes. Previously, Crypto couldn't multitask, meaning you couldn't extract the brain, fire your weapon and lift objects, but now you can do all of that at once. Something to note too, if you're finding it takes too long to extract a brain from a human, just flat up mash the relevant button. The quicker you mash it, the quicker it goes.
That's what she said!
You can now convert objects into ammo, jumping won't break your holograms, there are more upgrades here where previously there was 18 and there are now 66. The movement has been updated and you'll be able to dash and skate around levels. Speaking of levels, there's an additional mission in here too. You'll also be able to replay missions when you're on board your mothership. When you finish missions, and obviously between missions, you'll be able to return to your mothership where you'll be able to purchase upgrades for both crypto and your flying saucer. These can be small things from increasing the battery charge of your weapons to the duration of your holograms. To get currency for the upgrades, unlike basically all current video games, you won't need to spend additional money. If you want money for upgrades, do the relevant side tasks and missions like drown partygoers, blow up a certain amount of vehicles with a certain weapon, or collect brains from humans. I found using the Zap-O-Matic shock blaster while mashing the brain extraction button at the same time works really well for getting some extra cash. Speaking of missions, when you are playing a mission, you'll obviously be given a task to do, and completing them you'll immediately return to the mothership where you'll be able to select your next mission and purchase upgrades for either crypto or your saucer. But that's something worth noting. This is a remaster of a 2005 game. The gameplay, mission structure and length is still the same from 2005, and depending on your experience as a gamer, a mission can take about 5 minutes or so. Though, you can replay missions whenever you want to try and achieve those side missions for rewards. Now this is a 2005 game, but for those of you who haven't played it, and in the spirit of not being a dick, I will try not to ruin any major plot points or any fun plot points, but there are also about 30 missions in the game. Now some missions will take longer than others to finish, and you will see the restart mission screen a couple of times. There's a tower defense mission which took me multiple attempts with me yelling at the screen a few times. So don't worry about finishing the campaign too quickly. There are also some very small things to note too. I did play this on an Xbox One X and found the graphics would pop in a little bit during the cutscenes here and there. There was also a mission where I needed to find the mayor of the town, and when I failed and restarted the mission, for some reason I was starting on the roof of the town hall. Also, I tried to kill this scientist here by dropping this hanging container. Obviously I dropped it too early, but the scientist dies by just walking into it. But honestly, it's an over-the-top, insane, retro 50s arcade fun game. It's also worth noting too, Crypto's kryptonite, you see what I did there, is water. Yes, just like Jason Voorhees, his weakness is water. I understand Jason Voorhees' weakness isn't actually water, but the plot point in Freddy vs. Jason was fucking ridiculous. If you step into water at all, your shields will start to drop and you'll die.
I'm drowning! I'm drowning! What the?
Remember the first time you had something like lemon cheesecake and you ever wonder how you lived your life without it? Well, that's what Destroy All Humans is like, and for some random unknown fucking reason I never looked at it when I was a kid in 2005, when it would have been right up my alley. We've gotten 4 entries in the Destroy All Humans series if you're wanting more on top of this great remake, one of which may have been the one that killed the series, but there's a load of fun to be had with this Destroy All Humans 2020 remake. If you've played the original one and you want to return as Crypto, or you've never played it before, now is a perfect time. Destroy All Humans 2020 Remake is available now on Xbox One, PS4 and the PC. I kinda hope we get a remake of Stubbs the Zombie at some point too while we're at it. If you enjoyed this video, a like, comment and subscribe would be awesome and a great way to help out my channel. If there's any game you want me to take a look at, whether it's a rad video game like this or something like House Party, yeah, I don't think I can get away with playing this fucking simulator, then hit me up in the comments below.